Hi, everyone.
Hello, everybody. It's Fiona May.
Sandra Lee.
And we're the head coaches at Women on Transition. So thank you for joining us. And I hope a lot more people jump on board. But what we're going to talk about today is, the reality that we believe that you are one call away from changing your life. And in today's session, what we're going to talk about is you're one call away from creating anything that you really want to create for yourself. So we're going to identify and have a look at what's it mean to you to create a life and live it on your own terms.
And imagine waking up every day feeling energized, fulfilled, and excited about what lies ahead. And most of us wake up when we're certainly coming out of separation and divorce and a change of life and trauma and challenges with not those vibes. We're feeling like not even wanting to jump out of bed, or in some days we even stay in there. So we really want to give you some step-by-steps to be able to put in practical terms some ideas on how you can change that and how you can get motivated and inspired and be purpose-driven as well.
So you might wonder, ladies, have you ever thought to yourself, why is it that some people's lives work out and why is it that some people's lives don't? Why is it that some people are out there, seem to be having all the fun and got activities on all the time, always meeting new people, going new places? Why is it that like that for some people? And for some people, they struggle to have friends or maintain relationships. They don't ever have a social calendar that's exciting or much to look forward to in their life. They don't have, plans for the future and things to look forward to. And, when they look forward and think what their life's going to be in 5 and 10 years, there's nothing really there that inspires them. Have you ever stopped to wonder why that is? We know why.
We're certainly there. And I know and remember coming out of a divorce, and I was so much in survival mode, and I barely could think a day ahead. In fact, some days I couldn't even think more than an hour ahead, or even 10 or 15 minute chunks sometimes, because I was in such a overwhelmed place. And it wasn't until I sort of got my head up for air that I could start breathing and start thinking. And for those that have younger kids, you're still in that space of making sure that they're okay before yourself, and putting on the oxygen mask on you is really important now. And it's important to get you right so that you can be there to be able to be that role model mum and that supportive person and a great example to everyone around you and your kids as well. So when we're right, everyone else is right. And, we can break this down into some really easy steps. And the first thing to do, I did, was actually to allow myself to dream. And it's harder than you think when you haven't been allowed or enabled to do that for a while. And it's the first thing I did was to go and find some space and create a safe place that I could go and sit in, whether it was by the river or down on the beach, or I always go to somewhere there's water. And I used to have a little journal and just start writing, what I'd love to do, things that I couldn't even work out how I was going to get to Italy, but all I wanted to do was plan for having a special birthday coming up in Italy. And I had no idea how that was going to happen or how I was going to make that work financially or who would even come. But that was my goal. And then I started writing out some other things that I really, really wanted to do, but didn't know how it was going to happen at that stage. So it just started off with some journaling, and I moved it onto a vision board. I actually wrote out and cut pictures out of the old Woman's Day, a new idea, printed stuff off the computers and started putting into place some, holiday trips. Most of them were with the kids, and I had one of a car that I'd love to have. And at this stage, I didn't have money for the car. I just knew that it was something that I would love to have, and an apartment I'd love to have. And it was just really dreaming at that stage, but it started there.
Yeah. So, when you start to dream, and I was just thinking, wonder what the ladies are thinking, listening to Sandra, putting a bit of a map out there and a plan. I wonder what they're thinking. And I know what a lot of what would have been happening for a lot of you ladies is that little voice in your head will have popped up, and it will start to talk to you negatively. It will start to chat in the back of your mind, sabotaging your beliefs that maybe there's an amazing future out there. Maybe you're going to be able to create something that, you know, really excites you. Maybe you're going to be able to go to Paris. Maybe you're going to be able to, you know, get new friends and have lots of new adventures. And then the minute you start thinking like that, that little voice will pop up. And what we need to learn to do is to be able to take control of our mind and not allow that little voice to derail us, because its job is to keep us safe. But safe means doing nothing. It means staying stuck. It means just not taking any risk, not dreaming, not thinking about what's possible. It means doing the same thing every day, day in, day out. And that's where a lot of people end up succumbing and allowing that little voice to control them. So I'll let Sandra keep telling you about the exciting stuff, and then I'll, in the background, some of those objections that might be coming up for you.
You're the little voice on the shoulder. I love it. The positive one. So I heard years ago, and this was something that really was an aha moment for me. It was when just something flicked and it gave me some direction to start planning, because when you can't plan for so long, when you can't dream for so long, and when you feel that there is no choice but the life that you're in, and that nothing else is going to be better than where you are, it's a hard place to come out of. And it does take determination and focus and courage to do that, and quite often support as well. And I heard of this term, and it's called Ikigai, and it's Ikigai, and it's a Japanese concept of discovering your purpose. And it was something, this Ikigai came to me as a practical way of just working steps through a logical way of thinking. And it actually, at the end of it, it gives you some ideas on maybe what you could be considering as well. So Ikigai is a concept of discovering your purpose through exploring in the middle of what you love doing, things that you even maybe back to when you're a younger girl, and you did have choices and freedom to be able to make choices. Maybe it was horse riding, or maybe it was pottery, or maybe it was just swimming. Or so it's what you love doing, exploring that intersection with what you're good at. So what skills you do have. If you're good at sewing, or you're good at accounting, or you're good at welding, whatever it is that you're good at, versus what the world needs. What is it out there that the world might need some more of? And it might need more people out there supporting, feeding the poor. It might need people out there being kind and good. It might need people out there being, sailors. Or so what is it that the world needs more of? And what can you be paid for? And if we're looking for something here that could even end up being something that we're passionate about and we love doing, and we're good at doing it, and we could even make it into a side hustle and end up getting paid financially for it.
So what Sandra has opened the door there to is, what can we create for ourselves that is going to have our life feel really fulfilling? Because, we get fulfillment when we are moving in a direction, when we're growing, when we're taking action, and when we're getting results. Those three things is what leads to fulfillment. So what is it for you that you could do that would leave you feeling fulfilled? And so very often when we start to look at, what could I do, or what do I want to do, or what would make me feel really happy, again, we get that little negative voice. But we also then get what we call imposter syndrome. We start to think, what right have I got to have those things? Who's going to listen to me? Nobody would come if I was teaching a class. All those, limitations and the things that hold us back. One of the things that we really love doing, Sandra and I are very strategic in the way that we run our own lives. It's no accident that we have amazing lives, that we are happy, that we're fulfilled, that we are financially successful, that we've got great careers, that we've got great relationships. None of that stuff is accidental, ladies. I knew when I got divorced that I wanted to be in a beautiful relationship again. That was a non-negotiable for me. I did not want to spend the rest of my life alone. And I also knew that I would never spend my life just with somebody. It had to be somebody pretty awesome. So that was a goal that I set myself very early. When I did get divorced, I knew that I would find a new man to do life with, to retire with, to have fun with, and to go on adventures with. So, once you do have a bit of a plan and a structure, then it's just a case of, putting in place the steps that you need to take to get the outcomes that you want. And that's no different to any area of our life. Sandra and I work with, ladies, and one of the first things we do is we always want them to earn more income. If they've got businesses, we want their businesses to be more viable and successful. If they have jobs and careers, we want them to be pushing themselves and taking those promotions and having a look at the things that hold them back. If they want to retire, well, then we want to create that pathway for them to, financially be secure so they can retire. Whatever it is for the individual ladies, we always want to get them the outcomes that they want. And so, again, we work towards a plan and then we take it step by step. But very often we've got to get out of our own way, because we are the person that holds ourselves back from having the future that we want. And so if we can get ourselves out of our own way, and then we have some structure like Sandra's talking about, and we do the things that make us feel happy and what we're good at and how we can contribute, those things are the things that will have us having a successful and happy life.
It's the 1% changes that make the difference, and having multiple 1%ers over time. So if you can just each week change something by 1%. And what I did was I set up my intent in the morning that I was going to wake up and I was going to say, what's the one thing that I want to achieve today that's for me, not for the kids, not for money earning, not for, tasks or jobs I have to do, but what's one thing that I'm going to do today that's just for me. And I thought, okay, I'm going to put, a $2 mask on my face while I'm, doing some jobs. And it might have been something like, or I'm actually going to have a bath today and shut the door so no one can come in and interrupt me. Or I'm actually going to go for a walk on my own today. Or I'm actually going to catch up with a girlfriend and go for a coffee. So just those 1% things can make a massive difference. And then by the end of the week, you've done 7 things that have been for yourself. And suddenly you're starting to feel a little bit less resentful about not being able to have any time or not being able to, and it starts opening up the psychological, door to be able to know that you are worthy and you are worth it. And there is an opportunity here for you to be able to expand that even further. And those 1% in the morning, for me, expanded to in the evenings, what was I grateful for today? So and we used to sit around even as a family when the kids were little and even as they've grown up. What were the 3 things that they're grateful for that happened today? And, the kids would start off with, I'm not grateful for anything and nothing I can think of. And in the end, we said, well, you had lunch today, right? You got to eat. And you actually had a school bag to put your school stuff in and you went to school, So it starts putting things into perspective. And, today I was grateful for the sun was shining. And some days I know when I was certainly going through tough times, this was such an important thing that I was grateful for, my strength that I made it through the day. And keep gratitude as a focus, because it's the powerhouse that breaks through everything else. It breaks through your lack of self-confidence and your lack of self-worth to getting you to a place that when you're grateful for things and people around you, it overrides everything else. And it's such a powerful emotion to keep front of mind. And it's so beautiful to go to sleep on it as well.
Excellent. So, one thing we know is where we focus, that's where our energy goes. So if we're focusing on our future and what we're creating and what we want and what we see our life as becoming, then, that's going to move us in that direction. And by the same token, ladies, if you are focusing on your past or your pain or your hurt or your sadness, that's where your energy is going to go as well. And, I really want to encourage you to have a look how you're showing up in the world, because we know that, it is absolutely possible for you to create an amazing new life for yourself. And, I say it all the time. This is our opportunity. It's a perfect time in our life. We're at a great age for us to be able to, start to prioritize ourselves, start to making ourselves, our number one in our lives. Stop pleasing everybody else. Stop overgiving to everybody else. And both of those behaviors are unhealthy behavior patterns that you've learned. Because when you overgive and when you become a people pleaser, you used to get recognition and you used to get validation. But you get tired over time when you don't get what you want out of that, and then you start getting resentful. And when you get resentful, it literally strips your energy away. And so you start to, really get a bit sad and a bit hurt and disillusioned. And those negative energies pull you down and keep you stuck. So what we want you to do is to shake yourself off, to actually choose what you want for yourself and start creating. So, we talked about at the beginning of this, what would it be that you would create if you could create anything? What is it that you truly want for yourself in your life? And when I ask ladies that question, they often say, I don't know. I've given up dreaming. And I say to them, if you did know, what would it be? And then they'll say something, and then I'll say, and if you did know, what would it be? And if you did know, what would it be? And just saying that a couple of times, what it does is give yourself permission to start to dream again, and to start to think that, that there's a better life out there for you, that you can create something amazing for yourself. So I want you to start being honest and true, because I think that's where, growth happens and change starts to happen when we start to get honest with ourselves. So we've got to stop BSing to ourselves, and we've got to start being honest about what we want. Own up to and tell yourself the truth. If you want to have a beautiful partner, there's nothing wrong with that. There's no shame in that. If you want to be single and you want to just travel and have fun, there is nothing wrong with that either. We don't have any preconceived or any opinions about what you should do with your life. Our job as coaches is to find out what you want and then help you and facilitate you in getting the outcomes that you want. And we know that that's absolutely possible.
One of the most important things that I learned was not what to say yes to, but what to say no to, because we can all do so much, and our bandwidth of skills is so stretched out, especially being parents and in careers and jobs and the taxi lady and all the things that we've had to be over time, and the income earner and different multiple tasks and jobs juggling at the same time. And it's only when we get really clear as to what we do want, and then learn to say no to all the things that aren't going to serve us to get there, that aren't essential in our lives. We don't say no to some things that we do need to do, tasks that we do need to do, but certainly we know the difference. And it's when you say no, it frees up time, and that it gives you space to be able to focus more on the yes stuff. We've all got the same hours in the day, from the most successful, the most financially wealthy people in the world. It's just that they focus on what they want as an outcome, as opposed to getting distracted by all the people and being the people pleaser to everyone and being all things to everyone, which means we end up being nothing to ourselves. Yeah. So learn to say no to what doesn't serve you and isn't serving you, and learn to focus your time and really value your time as well. It's such an important commodity. We only have limited time here. We don't know how long that's going to be, and use it valuably and value it, and make sure that you're living a life full of gratitude, and also something that in your life that feels like you're giving back and you are serving your own purpose. And that does get you up early. It does keep you up late. It excites you and motivates you every day to jump out of bed.
One of the things that I do, this is a little tip, if you don't think you've got enough time in the day, is at night time I write a list of everything I need to get done the next day, and then I go through and in the morning, so I write my list at night time. In the morning, I go through and I prioritize, what do I need to get done? What is a non-negotiable? And I number them 1 to 10 or whatever it is. And then I start at number 1, the most important thing. And I call this system worst things first, because what I find is the things that are the most impactful, the things that I have to do that I can't put off, very often they're the things that we want to procrastinate about. And procrastination is fear. Fear that you might make a mistake, fear that you might not know what you're doing, fear that something might go wrong. But all of those fears together is why we procrastinate. And so I have a philosophy of worst things first. I do number 1 on my list, the most important thing that I have to get done. And once I've got that done, then I will go on to 2. And when I've got 2 done, I will go on to 3. Because I used to take pride in the fact that I think I'm a pretty good multitasker. But the reality is I'm not as good as what I thought I was. Because when you've got lots of things on the go at once, you waste a lot of time. That's what I have found. You waste a lot of time when you can sit and you can just focus and you can get a task done without interruptions, and it might only be 20 or 30 minutes. Then you get up, you shake yourself off, and then you have a bit of a break, might have a cup of tea, go to the toilet, and then you sit down and you chunk. So you're chunking your time down, and then you go into the next 20 minutes or 30 minutes. And that's a good way that I have found that I like to operate, and I get much better outcomes like that. So maybe that's something you could try, writing your list at night time, prioritizing in the morning, and then starting on your biggest or your worst things first. Get them out of the way, and then get to the things that, are less important but still need to be done. Because what a lot of people do is they spend all their time doing the little things that are unimportant, the easier things, and they keep leaving the big things. And, it's why we still have those things are still being dragged around with us. It's not like they're not energetically, consuming part of us because we're not doing them. We actually drag them around, and once we get them done, they're done.
They keep getting added to the next list, and that doesn't solve the problem. And when we wake up in the morning, if we've got this momentous, huge amount of list that we've got to work through, then it's something that we're going to be challenged by, and we won't actually all freeze and not even start it. So, the way I work on waking up in the morning is how I can wake up as a human being versus a human doing. So I'm not waking up focusing about the list. I'm waking up about how I'm going to show up today and who I'm going to be today to get that list done and to get the worst things first done as a priority. So if I'm going to be today a focused, action taker, and I'm going to be, positive, and I want to be happy, I'm going to be purpose driven, I'm going to be on task, and it gives me that inner level of energy that gets me getting things done. And, sitting down and getting your worst thing done straight away is something that gives you that real sense of accomplishment and achievement. And it's about showing up and being that person as well. So rather than being the human being and feeling like you're in the rat on the little treadmill cycling around and just never getting anywhere or achieving everything because you're doing everything for everyone else and you're not doing anything for you. So it's really important, ladies, that we keep that oxygen mask on ourselves. We get up, we show up, and we have a plan of what we want to focus on. And what we want as an outcome is that's our little shiny light at the end that keeps us focused towards and keeps us on our true north, our star that we keep aiming for. And, sometimes we hit it, sometimes we miss it, but at least we're heading in the direction of it.
Yeah. So have a think about this week, take some time out, sit down and get honest with yourself. Start to think about what is it that you truly want for yourself in your future. Also do a bit of self-awareness. How proactive have you been in planning your life? How proactive have you been in mapping it out and having a step-by-step blueprint, knowing where you're going to, and every day taking action? And, you know, if these are things that are missing in your life, maybe you want to give a call to us, jump on a free call, have a chat to us, because we believe you're one call away from changing your life. You know, if you want some change, then you've got to be the driver in stepping up and saying that you need to make some changes. And then, you know, having guides and mentors walk alongside you, holding you accountable, giving you a hug when you need it, and giving you a bit of a push when you need it as well, because, you know, very often we get stuck in that procrastination, the fear takes over, and we end up spinning our wheels and getting nothing done. And that's where it's invaluable to have coaches. And, you know, when you think about it, all sports stars, everyone at the Olympics who's doing amazingly well, they've all got coaches. They've got mindset coaches, they've got performance coaches. But, you know, as human beings, we can be coached to overcome our challenges and create the best life that we can create as well. So if you would like to have a chat to us, you know, if you want to be one call away from changing your life, we'll reach out. We do offer a free call, and we'd love to chat to you.
Yeah, and we've got here with our best thinking and our best knowledge and our best support around us. And to get to there, to get to that next step, it's about bringing in new knowledge, new information, new support, and new thinking as well. And you will get there because you've got the drive and the passion and the willpower to get there, and setting something up there that's going to be a motivating factor moving to it. So we're motivated by two things. One is fear, we move away from something, and the other one is reward and recognition. So setting up something there that is that nice carrot that you want to move towards. Maybe it's, you know, a holiday, maybe it's just a dinner out, maybe it's fish and chips on the beach, whatever it is, to have something there that's going to reward and motivate you to move forward as well. So ladies, you've got this. You've got an exciting new life. It's your canvas, and it's an exciting place to be. And live and plan a fulfilling life, and you deserve it.
Yeah, exactly what Sandra and I, you know, we map out our lives. We decide what we want to do. We put in place the steps that are going to get us there, and, you know, and we have fun. It's amazing. Yeah. And we're achieving a lot, and we're enjoying every single day. So that's what we want for you. We certainly don't want to see you sad. We don't want your divorces defining you. We want to see you out there living your best life. So let's make it happen, girls. If we can support you and what we do resonates with you, please reach out.
We'd love to hear from you. If this is right for you, and this is something that, you know, you think there's more out there, and I know I deserve it, and, you know, I am enough, and this is something that I want some support with, we're here to help you.
Okay, see you next week, ladies.
Ciao.